Matthew Daniels here with Scientiam Verarum. Today I want to talk to you all a little bit about what's going on between the United States and Iran. Surprisingly, tensions have increased. This is due to several things. I guess there was an actionable intelligence or actual intelligence basically saying that Iran told its proxies, which are various forces all throughout Iraq as well as Syria, proxies such as Hezbollah. They also have various militias in Iraq and Syria that receive training, funding, weapons from Iran. Basically, the Iranian government gave those guys the green light to potentially attack U.S. forces in Iraq as well as Syria, and basically to seek them out and do them harm. As a result, the Trump administration responded by sending a carrier strike group that was somewhat close to that area, diverted it from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf. So that represents an escalating of tensions. Furthermore, they sent a group of B-52 bombers to a nearby country. I'm not sure where those bombers went actually, but they're there, so they're acting as a deterrent as well. There have been rumors that the White House is thinking about sending like up to 120,000 service members to the region as well to act as like a defensive force in case either Iran enriches uranium or if Iran attacks U.S. targets. So this is interesting. It's definitely something to be watching, to be monitoring. The mainstream media likes to kind of basically explain it and make it seem like war is imminent, that, at any moment now war could break out, which I understand that tensions have increased. In my personal opinion, I don't think that war is going to break out any day now. I just don't. The reason being is because we need, at least in my opinion, at least like 3 other carrier task force, many more troops, many more supplies in that area in order to invade Iran. I think if we were going to do it, we would go all out. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a general or anything, so, take what I say with a grain of salt. With that being said, there is a risk of potential escalation here, a potential accident or a potential incident where, the Iranian confronts American forces or something like that. Anytime there's, a plethora of targets in an area as congested as the Persian Gulf, particularly close to Iran, there's a major choke point where the Iranians, potentially could shut down that area as well as gain control and kind of shut the oil flow out of that area. Furthermore, an interesting case, the Saudis, I guess they had some of their container ships. I believe 2 were Saudi, and 1 was actually like Norwegian or something like that. But I guess they had explosions in their hull. Basically, it punched a hole in the side of their hull of the vessel, damaging them and rendering them inoperable, which potentially, could hurt oil flow out of the region. In addition, I guess there was like a drone attack in Saudi Arabia, which is really interesting. It's strange. It's interesting because, Saudi's acting as a proxy or fighting Iranian proxies in Yemen. They're fighting the Houthi rebels, which are a direct Iranian proxies. So I wonder if that's kind of like in response for that or like a tit for tat for that. It's very interesting, so we'll have to see. My personal opinion, though, I think give this like 2 or 3 weeks and it will all blow over. The mainstream media will stop talking about it. They'll move on to the next big thing. That's just my personal opinion. I think a lot of people tend to kind of, sort of basically because Donald Trump and the type of bombastic character that he is, carrier. He's not an aircraft carrier. But because of his bombastic personality and kind of his off-the-cuff, loose cannon approach, the media takes what he does and kind of blows it out of proportion sometimes. So, like, for example, in my opinion, sending this carrier task force as a result of this intelligence that they received, I think that's somewhat of a measured response. It kind of nips it in the bud right from the get-go, which is really interesting if you contrast that with, like, the previous administration. It's a known fact that Iranian proxies as well as Iranian arms and munitions and things like that, IEDs, etc., were used in Iraq on U.S. service members. There's no doubt about that. And the response to the Obama administration was, neither here nor there. It wasn't as direct as a response to this intelligence that Trump is clearly sending a message here saying, hey, don't mess with us. So I'll give him credit where credit is due. I myself am, sometimes I'm a fan of him, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I was a fan of Obama, sometimes I wasn't. So, yeah, so that's basically it with Iran. We'll have to see. It'll be interesting. I'll revisit this video maybe a week or two from now, and we'll see what's going on with Iran. But in my opinion, this will all blow over. The Iranians are going to want to come back to the norm. They're going to want to come back to like talking, maybe try and negotiate another deal with Washington or something like that, because their main thing is, they need that oil. They need that oil flowing. That is their lifeline. It's what keeps their economy going. It's what helps the regime stay legitimate in that area. So that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you all think. If you have any other thoughts, feel free to let me know. Disagree with me, argue with me, I don't care. I'll happily, reply in the comments section. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you very much. And also feel free to research or search for Scientiam Verarum on Facebook, and you'll see more of like my kind of analysis and thoughts about what's going on in the world there. Thank you.